So today we are starting a 6-week program called Spring into Spring 2021. This is a life coaching program, and just to give you a little bit of background about me, I taught school for a lot of years around Morinville, but in the late 90s and early 2000s, I took a Coach U training course, which was 2 years, 35 4-hour modules, all on the telephone. And I coached for people for about 5 years, right at the time when coaching was just coming out as a thing. Since then, lots of people have put signs out calling themselves coaches without very much training, but you are going to be benefiting from the training that I have today. And the whole point is, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, people have been stuck at home, and things are starting to open up a little bit, just like our library is starting to open up a little bit. So it's a time to be thinking about, let's move forward, let's take some action in our lives. And I decided to share this with you. So because I was part of Coach U, I contacted them and got special permission to do this. Normally this would cost you, so ta-da, you get it for free. Because they were really good and sent me all the most recent materials and everything. So today we're starting off with week 1, which is spring cleanup, and we're clearing out the dead wood. So if you're thinking of your garden, which is going to be the imagery throughout this little program, if it's spring, you probably have to pull out all kinds of dead junk, old plants that just fell over and got snowed on. And you want to clean all that out so that you can plant in the spring. So same thing with our lives. We need to clean out the stuff that is getting in the way with us moving forward. So what we're going to start with is called the Wheel of Life. So what we have here, and I'll give you a piece of grid paper so yours will be exact, is 10 lines with 10 little marks. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the various areas of people's lives on this thing. So, for example, finance and health and family and career, learning, romance, very important thing, volunteer, spirituality, sports, and friends. So these are just things that are important in my life, maybe. You might have something else in there. This is all about you. Anybody that's coached really knows a lot of this stuff already. They just need follow-up and a little direction. So what you do here is you look at, out of a score of 0 to 10, where do you think you would plug yourself in? So for example, some of my family is not here right now, so I'm going to put that there. I'm liking my library career right now. Learning, I'm always learning new things at the library, so I'm putting those high. Romance, well, you know, it's good, very good. Volunteerism, I belong to a club that helps other people, especially kids, but we aren't able to meet as often as we would like right now because of COVID. So I'm going to put that a little lower. Spirituality, same sort of thing. I belong to a church. We're only doing online services right now. Sports, in a walking challenge, that helps. And I exercise a lot, so we'll put that one there. Friends, I don't get to see them that much right now, so I'm putting it in there. Finance is, okay. And I'm lucky enough that my health's not too bad. So here we have all these dots, and you can see that all you have to do is connect the dots, whatever your dots are looking like. And if you take a look at this final diagram, and if you colored it all in, this is your wheel of life. So I'm just going to show you a model for someone else. So that would be another one. And you know, if you see that your wheel is kind of leaning one way, you're not going to be driving smoothly down the road. And so it's just a kind of a model so that you can think about when you're clearing out things in your life, that maybe there's some things that are pretty good and some places you might want to look at. So in my case, well, I have to contact my friends on the phone a little more maybe. So moving on from there, the next thing to do is to actually get rid of some stuff so that you can focus on the areas you want to grow. And we call that zapping the tolerations. So basically what you do is you make a list of anything in your life that you're tolerating. Could be 100 things. Could be you're tolerating that annoying person who phones you every Sunday. Could be that you're tolerating that you haven't painted some part of your house. Could be that someone in your family is not taking out the garbage. You can think of anything that you're tolerating, and the cool thing about this is that you don't have to immediately start trying to fix it because you have a coach now. What you do is you just put it aside, put the list somewhere, and your brain works on it when you don't even realize it. And when you come back a month and a half or 2 months later, you'll discover that a lot of those things that you were tolerating are gone. So it's not like this is homework, you must get rid of all these things you're tolerating. You just make the list, put it over there, and agree with yourself that you're going to look back at it in a month or two and see what's happened and how you feel having done that. So it's just kind of a random write jot, everything that you're tolerating in your life. And some things you'll be able to go, oh, I'm actually tolerating that. I'm going to get rid of that right now. So that's called Zapping the Tolerations. And we actually have a little program that goes with that in case you can't really think of categories for it. So for example, you might look at, okay, in my home, what are 5 things that I'm tolerating? Or in my family and community, what are 5 things that I'm tolerating? Health. You can go back to any of these, right? And think of 5 things that you're tolerating. So that's a starting point if you're not sure where to go from there. And yeah, like that's, if you clear some of that out, what you're doing is freeing up space and mental anxiety and all of that so that you can focus on moving forward. So in our Clear Out the Deadwood first lesson, we've looked at zapping the tolerations after having done our Wheel of Life. So I could have put Wheel of Life at the top there. The next one is getting clear of the past. So you may have some things that are unresolved matters in your life. Again, this is about clearing out the deadwood. You don't have to resolve everything, but it's good to kind of pay attention because attention plus intention leads to getting something done. So if you handle unresolved matters and you finish outstanding projects, then you have more space for moving forward and doing the kinds of things that you would like to do. And it's good to know that you actually can get clear of pretty much everything. Once you start on this and you have some practice doing it, it gets easier and easier. So an example might mean somebody made reference to your white hair or your weight or something at a family gathering, and you kind of smiled and went, and you never really did anything about it, and it's still bugging you. So that's an unresolved matter. You can choose on paper or something to write it out and throw it in the garbage and be done with it. Or you could choose to go to the person and say, you know, what you just said didn't really work for me. And why? And then you get it resolved. And if they get into an argument with you, oh, well, you've expressed your point of view. It's not like you have to expect people to react in a way that you want. It's that you have stated that this comment made you feel uncomfortable. So that would be an example. It might mean that something in your house that's unresolved, you didn't paint that spot in your living room that you really wanted to paint, and it bugs you every time you walk by, but you have other things on your mind. So again, you could write it down and decide when you're going to do it, or you could just walk over there and start painting. Paint yourself a picture right there. We were doing a Zentangle thing just the other day, and the lady had actually Zentangled all over the top of a door on her wall. So that was really cool. So you could, if something you value was creativity, you might use the creativity to get you clearing out that dead wood. So I actually have, what I'm going to give you is a clean sweep is what it's called, and it's a program, a checklist of 25 areas that you can go through in each category. So we have several categories that unresolved matters could be part of. 1, health and emotional issues. 2, relationships. 3, physical surroundings. 4, our financial affairs. So in this clean sweep program, which would be in your package for this week, you would basically answer each question. So there's the physical environment, for example. And then as you go along, you summarize each section and you color your progress going up from the bottom. It's all explained in here anyway, but don't be overwhelmed by some of the questions, because when Thomas Leonard, who founded Coach U and really coined the term coaching to mean helping people out with their lives, started this program, he believed that people can have like the life of their dreams. And so in order to get rid of the dead wood, he has you getting rid of anything and everything. So don't start feeling guilty. Oh no, I haven't done this, and oh, I haven't done that. And because really, if you mark these things down, it's sort of like the wheel of life. It gets going in the back of your head, and it allows you to decide on 1 or 2 things that you want to focus on coming up when we get into the planting our seeds stage of this little workshop. So basically, the main thing to be thinking about is, with tolerations, name it, don't blame it. So you're not blaming yourself about these things you're tolerating. Everybody tolerates stuff. You're just naming it so your brain can work on it. Same with getting clear of the past. You do the clean sweep, come back to it every couple of months and watch how you can color your way up and what you've accomplished, because it will just happen by the fact that you've written it down. Other than that, that's pretty much clearing out the dead wood. Next week will be prepare your soil. And in that one, we're going to be working with what we have and getting that soil ready, just like in your garden, you work with what you've already got in there. Before you can plant the seeds, you got to do a little digging. And so we'll be doing some digging next week. Hopefully this is working out for you. If you have any questions, you can send messages on Facebook or any other social media that's attached to the library, and we will see if we can answer them for you. See you next week.